Hi, it's Johnny, and this one's for my small business people. So last year we had this idea of TGIF, which started as a joke but turned out to be quite a good one, which was not the burger chain, it is thank God I filed it. And the idea is that you spend a small amount of time every week, maybe on a Friday afternoon when you're kind of winding down, just maintaining your system. And when I say your system, I mean just your computer and your files and all that stuff, your JDex and all your notes, all the stuff that you probably wish you could spend a bit more time making neat and keeping in order. But of course, when business is hectic, it's the last thing you get to. It's inevitable. So then entropy takes over and you end up in a mess, and that can be stressful because you can't find things anymore. So what I'm going to do is, over the course of a year, as I'll show you, we'll touch every aspect of your system, just a light touch to make sure that there's nothing terrible in there, and do a little bit of tidying up. And we're going to do this together. So what I've done is taken the small business system and spread it across the year, because the small business system by design contains everything that any small business needs to operate. And in fact, it needs more than most small businesses need, because that's just the shape of business. Like, we don't have anything to do with inventory and shipping, for example. So what I'm doing is introducing a small business annual calendar. I've put Zoom sessions in the calendar already. They're alternating Tuesday, Thursday in alternating time zones, and they'll just run forever. And you can find that at JDHQ in the events calendar. And what we're going to do is get on a call together and make sure that you have TGIF'd. What I've built to start is this base row, which is just an online database, and I'm going to run this for a while and see how this goes. I'm kind of thinking of this as like beta software in my mind, and if this works, I might potentially build this into JDHQ. We'll see. And so for the first handful of you, maybe the first dozen or so of you, what I can do is give you access to a copy of this, and we can work on this together. So what I've done is grouped together sections of the system so that we can fit everything into 52 weeks. So there are about 26 groupings of Johnny.Decimal things, and then they get 2 weeks each with a bit of room for holidays. The process is designed to be forgiving, right? I don't want to give you just another chore. I really do imagine this is the sort of thing that you should be able to spend. If you spend half an hour a week, half an hour a fortnight, if you spend half an hour, 45 minutes a fortnight on the 15 things that your business touches in the small business system, I think at the end of the year, you'll be in a much better shape. And then we just keep doing that, and we just touch it on the same cycle every year. And so that's what you do in this couple of weeks. You just neaten up, you go and have a look in your JDex, you tidy up any processes, you delete any old notes. If there are any big notes that you know you reference all the time that are a bit big and stressful, you split those up. In your file system, you check where everything is where it should be. You rename all that stuff you've just dumped in there and haven't had time to tidy up. You just make sure everything is reasonably neat, because what I'm not asking you to do here is the work, right? When we get to category 21, products, I'm not asking you in these 2 weeks to design all your products for the year. What I'm asking you to do is to go into category 21 and just make sure it's neat and tidy. That's all we're talking about here. And I like to think of this like pretending like you're going to be audited, which one day you could be. And what I want is for this auditor or this external person to come in and to see your system, and for it not just to be an embarrassing shambles, right? If you can make your system not an embarrassing shambles, you can be in the top 1% of businesses in the world. And this also feeds the idea of comfortable awareness from my task and project management course, which is that if you have just touched everything through the year, you have a comfortable awareness. You've seen it all and you just know where it all is, which I think is a very healthy relationship to have with your business. So here's just a quick look at it. Here's the mechanics of how this actually works. Like I said, not every business will use every part of the system. So for example, in my business, while we live on the road, that's just a personal thing. We as a business don't actually have any events or travel. So for me, this part of the small business system isn't used, and I've marked it as so. And so in these 2 weeks, I actually have nothing to do. And if we scroll through the year, you're going to see this kind of natural spread where I just have nothing to do in a couple of weeks. So again, that gives this whole process a bit of leeway. I haven't designed this for my specific business. This is just how it worked out. And then the other nice thing about this is then it doesn't matter when you start this process. There's no start to this process. It's just a cyclical thing. And whenever you happen to join, you jump in where you are, and within a year, you'll catch up. And basically what we do here is when a thing comes due, so when a row, we're looking at them in chronological order here. When a thing comes due, it'll be highlighted. And basically all you have to do is put the date that you did your TGIF in here, and this thing will highlight red rows for things that are overdue, and then it'll make things go green for when they are done. And if you've indicated with the red in that column that your business doesn't touch this thing, then you don't need to put a date in because it's not something you need to do. And that's it. Very simple process, but I think by having this simple tracker and by just touching base, by checking in with each other on the call, I think we can all keep each other in check. So there are already weekly Zoom sessions in the calendar, which you can find here on the website. They're alternating Tuesday, Thursday morning, evenings. If none of those are suitable for you at all, let me know and I'm happy to schedule another. As long as people are actually turning up to calls, I'll schedule as many calls as you want, as long as I'm just not the lonely Billy on the call by myself. Let's keep each other honest. I'm going to help you manage this tracker. I'll host it so I can do updates to it and so on. I can give you access. And that is it. Let's see how this goes, and I hope to see some of you at the first session in a couple of weeks. And of course, if you want access to this thing, send me an email and I'll get you set up on it. And if you're not already in the small business system, Johnny.Decimal.com/SBS is where you can sign up.